So, Mum and Dad, what we were trying to think of something we could do in this spot. We thought, well, we'd look back at your marriage and all the places that you lived and where we've grown up and go through from the first to where you are now. So, Tresham, well, all I remember really there is that of the hill, which obviously you've talked many times about having to push me up and down the hill in the pram. And of course, Dr. Spock's book of raising babies, which seemed to be your template for all of us, or certainly was for me. Left me out in the snow or weather to get my hours fresh air. And then, of course, we moved to Woodlands. Kevin and Mark came along. And I certainly remember you, Dad, disappearing off this second job for Hearts of Oak and thinking it was some sort of secret society or some night going off, save the city or something in the evenings. And then, of course, the double garage, we all helped in that. Kevin, you helped in that, didn't you?
Yeah. The garage, I can remember that.
Do remember us setting light to the field one.
Yeah, I can remember that because I was sent back originally to raise the alarm when you and James, wasn't there? Next door, but one was still trying to fight the fire. But yeah, nobody was there. Fortunately, managed to put it out in the end.
After Woodlands, then we moved to Hatch End, Lytton Road, and we had a few more join us. I think Trevor and Graham both were born there, weren't you?
Yeah, we shared the room together, I think.
And Dad's carried on with his DIY, with his leather chair. I don't know if you remember that, anyone?
Yeah, the brown leather chair, yeah.
I don't know. What was it? It must have been, I'm guessing it was pretty substantial.
It was. It was a bit like Jim will fix it chair.
Yeah.
Big
he probably had some 2x4 in there.
And also remember, Dad, you making those that float in the garage for ages and ages.
I don't remember it so much, but I do remember the photos. I don't know whether the float should be used too strongly.
And also the day fishing boat, I remember you doing up, Dad, that never ever saw the light of, well, never got launched.
I remember it being out of the carport for a long time, and working, seeing it.
And we're going up into the loft thinking there was a dead body that
we
thought up there.
I do remember that. I remember thinking, I think you said there's something up there. There's a body or something. And so we went up there, scared out of our skins, and then found an outboard motor under a cover.
At Lytton Road, we had Grandad stay quite a number of times, babysitting for us. And of course...
Yeah, but what?
Yeah, him smashing up the place, you mean?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Mark still got the scars and he'd prove it.
Well, he did burn me with a soldering iron, but I think the highlight was the kitchen door cat.
When he chased it round the side, down the thing, and chucked something at it.
I remember Mum and Dad saying they shouldn't leave him with us.
Yeah. But I don't think they were worried about us. I think they were just worried about the property damage that would happen.
Yeah.
Then while we were at Lytton Road, you bought Somerset, a sort of country retreat where you could take us all down there, let us loose in the summer holidays, and we duly did.
Well, do you remember that when we went down to look at it, Phil?
I do, yeah. We weren't going to buy that.
Only day we ever got off school that was during the thing. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And we looked at the place with the I suppose it was several acres, but it was basically just a barn, the remains of a barn and a little quarry and
we all got involved in helping you, Dad, do the various jobs around the house, the roof, and I seem to remember
doing the hard labour.
Yeah, cheap labour.
Catching the tiles, coming down sliding the tiles off the roof so that they could be sold on or whatever.
Yeah, mixing cement.
Walking around on the bare joists upstairs. Do you remember that? And being told not to put your foot through the ceiling. Of course, the only person to put their foot through the ceiling, I think, was Dad.
Yes. But when we weren't working, we could run wild along with Minky.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the lots of stuff there we never saw anywhere else, did we? I mean, those glowworms and slow worms and weasels and
Do you remember the orchard with all those Victoria plums?
Yeah, we used to spend hours and days and weeks cutting down the
Nettle.
sort of scything down the nettles and undergrowth.
Do you remember the damson? Was it damson tree right at the front? The really, really old one, right next to the the gate.
It wasn't a damson, was it?
It's medlar.
Medlar tree.
Medlar tree, yeah.
That was so old, wasn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Mum put a preservation order on it.
Yeah.
Mum did.
Yeah.
The old medlar tree. Apparently, you had to wait until they were rotting before you could eat them. But I'm not sure we ever tried them.
I think the story went that King Alfred went out to pick the medlar tree.
Oh,
Mum.
That's why he burnt the cakes, is it?
That story.
Yeah.
Mum, that'd be fake news now, wouldn't it? That'd be Mum's story about trying to.
It would definitely need to be fact checked, yeah, by the BBC.
No, it wasn't just him, was it? It was Cromwell stayed there.
Cromwell, wasn't it? Cromwell stopped
Cromwell. I'm not so sure Cromwell and the other chap didn't stay there at the same time, according to Mum. But yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
You remember that Graham got attacked by a barn owl?
Oh yeah, that
I
was.
remember the barn owl. Yeah, I remember that picture.
Yeah, it was just in the cow shed. I was going through there, and it's in the evening, and this barn owl came flying out through the door, and I freaked out, and it just.
I thought it was going to fly off with him.
I remember finding a dead one up in the old part of the farmhouse. Was that? It didn't take a bite out of him.
There you go, Lake House, and congratulations.
Every day this tailoring business gets tougher. Hey, see that guy? Used to do his needlework, but I lost him to Farrah. Why, he can walk into most any fine store and walk out in Farrah slacks and a new Farrah jacket. Fantastic quality and instant fit. I can't give him that, and I'm the fastest needle in town.
Farrah slacks and jackets. Everything about them looks tailor-made.
How are you going to beat that?
As Dad always said, you can't beat a good pair of Farrahs.
Then we had to move over to Chigwell with Dad's job change. As soon as we moved in there, you broke your arm, Dad. I don't even remember. Do some of your DIY under your supervision, I remember. Putting the leading on the porch and a couple of other things.
Don't think I was trusted with anything like that.
A bit younger, weren't you then? Well, you still are.
Yeah, I think I tend to get the more labouring jobs, concreting and things like that, but mix it.
We've all had the concreting jobs at some point.
Yeah. We've always passed the spade down the line.
But Phil and I mixed all that concrete for the floor in the farmhouse. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's quite a bit, isn't it?
Of course, at Chigwell, there was the old crusty bread mystery.
Oh yeah, Mum and balding loaves.
Oh, I thought they just came that way.
They did, but not out of the shop.
It was next door, wasn't it, to the gift shop or whatever?
Oh, see you coming.
Mrs. Langley.
I've got something for you.
That was really the beginning of the problems for the retail industry when Mum moved away. Yeah, got a bargain.
I got a bargain.
And because that was you and Kevin flamethrower incident there, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, Dad.
It's just an experiment.
Yeah. You came in and couldn't work out what the smell was, and
I think that's when
we showed you the can that it came from, and you said it doesn't smell like that, and they said, well, it was a light.
I think that's when Mark took his experiments below ground to the cellar with me, and so that perhaps Mum and Dad wouldn't catch us.
It was probably safer because it was normally in 6 inches of water, wasn't it?
That's quite good, that cellar.
Yeah. And then after Penal Road was St Mary's Way.
Yeah, not quite big enough for all of us, so Trevor lived in the garage, didn't he?
First, I was in another partitioned room. That was part of my life, really.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. You had the
L-shaped room.
Our Mum and Dad's room, didn't he?
Yeah. 2 wardrobes and a
corridor, really. Jeff lived in a corridor for a couple of
4 years, yeah.
But then he got his own place, though.
Yeah. Moved out.
Before any months he moved out.
12.
I think it was just for a few months, actually. I think it was when we were trying to sell the house, I think.
That was another one of Dad's building projects, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's still going.
Trev left home at 12, yeah.
And of course, there was the great rice pudding strike of 84, 85.
Well, yeah, it was. Course, it was a time of, well, you know, all the militant tendency and all that stuff was going on. So I think Mum only really joined in, didn't she? But it was. We did ask for it rather, didn't we?
Well, I'm not really quite sure what tipped her over the edge. It seems unreasonable. She was happy to feed rice to missionaries coming back from China or whatever, but wouldn't feed rice to us. It seemed most unfair.
Was it about the same? What? There was another strike there, wasn't it?
Bread pudding.
There was an embargo on the bread pudding. Yeah, there was that.
Was it a similar time?
I'm not sure.
I think it was probably more at Surbiton, because we used to get given some, didn't we? If we were visiting and then go in, and we'd get a package, you know, and it would be in silver foil.
I think it's what
it got embargoed, and we
had to make sure you put it on the centre of the boot, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think it did my suspension. At least one car. So.
And it's this kind of talk that started the embargo, I think.
But Surbiton was also where we had those Boxing Day parties, big spread. I think games and big food spread. Mum did
fruit salads fermenting on the floor for a few days. That was always good.
That's probably where we get our winemaking tradition.
Yeah,
that's from Mum, definitely.
Yeah.
She was an early trailblazer for it.
At the house to yourself at the latter end of Surbiton before you moved down to Bournemouth.
Empty nesters or whatever they call them.
Yeah, and then we did keep coming because that was quite good. Well, holidays by the sea, wasn't it? Sort of
holidays, and we had a boat down there.
Yeah, because the garage there at Bournemouth was perfect for their caravan, wasn't it? Because
good garage.
Oh yeah, they had the Tourer then, didn't they? Yeah.
Didn't Dad build a mezzanine floor or something in that garage?
Yeah, probably. I think it did have a. Yeah, I think
there
maybe
must have been a few projects down there, but of course we weren't there often, were we? So we weren't there all the time, should I say?
No, we were visiting at that point. And then, of course, they moved back to Pinner.
That was Mum because she wanted a rail card, wasn't it? Mum wanted
a bus pass.
Yeah, bus pass.
Both wanted to come back to London as well. I think it's a central place for all of us, I think, as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, Rainers Lane, I suppose, as well.
And quite a major building project there.
Yeah.
Extension.
Yeah, because they were deep foundations. They were pretty deep anyway.
And then tackle the garden with the pond and of course the garden seat.
Yeah, it's a direct hit, didn't it?
You could see it from space.
It had lead roof, didn't it?
What, the one at Pinner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the final move to Rainers Lane.
Well, you say it's nearly finished now, so I mean,
it's time to move on.
Normally, when it's time to move on, isn't it? Mind you, Dad's already talking about doing the summer house, isn't he?
They boys did enjoy climbing that.
Okay, right, nails.
I think it's regulation height for goalposts, isn't it?
Just down there.
It's splayed out quite a bit, isn't it?
Well, we haven't.
Like that way.
Right, hold on.
Bill? Like that.
No, I don't.
They're the same, might be the same.
You missed one.
Do you want to put another one in there?
You can put another one. Yeah, because that one's not even done.
Yeah, it must be right.
Can I just spoil it? Yeah, because it's the one that you're stressing.
Yeah, the other good.
Okay.
Oh, no, not quite. I'll put one in at
Take
the
that
other.
out. It's.
Yeah, that's fine.
You might want to put one in here.
Well,
No.
I'll leave that in there while you just take this one.
No.
Yeah, do this one here. So.
And this one.
Oh yeah. We're going to start in the middle there. Yeah, then we'll come back to those ones.
Right.
I got one foot up.
Be alright, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't see it moving anyway, you know, I don't know why that fucking box down.
Can't really see it, but it's just full.
Right. Maybe 2 more boards. And then...
I've just got that. Oh, there it is. Now, it wouldn't come up big. Oh, it's come up big.
All right.
This thing, though, doesn't it? Yeah, it would. And it would got a holder for it anyway. Just pull the trigger. I'll get out of the way in a second. Okay. You gotta
put the weight
your
on
hand
it.
on that. Put your weight on that.
And then. It's okay.
I think we got it, but
Go on, keep going.
Right. Are you gonna
go on, Lee.
put some pressure on the top?
It's all split.
Well done.
All right, take it.
Happy 65th anniversary wedding from all of our week's staff. Looking forward for your next project. Thank you.